Welcome back to another edition of Tennis Bets and Picks. I'm your host, Jon Reid, at JR Tweets Tennis on Twitter. Today, we get to the French Open. The second slam of the year has arrived, and I could not be more excited. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then, of course, let us know your favorite bets for the first round in the comments section below. And then, of course, head over to your favorite podcast network and rate, review, and subscribe to Daily Fantasy Sports Picks and Bets, The Mix. Let's start with the men. We've got a nice bet here with Gianluca Mager, -3 games against John Millman. Those odds, are minus 102. And I really like this bet. First off, you've got John Millman, who has probably had one of his better clay seasons in quite some time, but it hasn't exactly been against the best players. His losses have come in fairly straightforward fashion against good clay quarters. His wins have come against a pretty unimpressive group of guys. Gianluca Mager, clay court specialist, mainly grinded at the Challenger Tour the last few years, but folks, he is the real deal on this surface, especially on the slower surface, where both of his serves, his first and second, can really power through the slow surface. They are heavy balls. It is going to take a lot to return them, and he should create a lot of short balls for +1 opportunities. That is to say, he should be able to put points away very simply. Again, Millman doesn't have the game for clay. He's more of a hard court grinder. He likes the flatter balls. He's had a lot of success there in his career, but in fairly stereotypical Aussie fashion, not exactly the most comfortable on the red dirt. The second match I want to talk about features two Americans, usually not the most fertile ground for clay court bets, but one in Francis Tiafoe, who's -6.5 games against Steve Johnson at +102. That is something I'm going to take. 6.5 games seems like a fairly large spread. But if you take it over 3 sets, you only really need a break in each set to win by a break in each set, especially if the service order falls properly. You can get a few 6-3 sets out of it. He should cover comfortably. There's a few reasons I like this. Despite being American, Francis Tiafoe's game is really built for the clay. He's a super physical player. He loves to elongate rallies, and he's very, very talented and can hit with power as well. Steve Johnson, on the other hand, not someone who wants long points, which slow clay like Roland-Garros tends to bring out. His backhand is dire. He slices it about 90% of the time. That means he's not comfortable hitting a true power backhand and tries to slice and keep himself in longer rallies. Between his form, which I don't believe he's won a match this year, not a single match. He has not been good at all, and a lot of his matches have been absolute train wrecks for him, meaning his opponents have covered the spread more often than not. Between the talent disparity, the form disparity, and the disparity between the two players' comfort on the surface, I am comfortable backing Francis Tiafoe to win by a wide margin in this one. The final selection I have comes on the women's draw. This one is Anastasia Sevastova money line against Jennifer Brady at +100. Many people who watch tennis will remember Jennifer Brady's incredible run to the final of the US Open, or Australian Open, where she lost to Naomi Osaka. That is no shameful loss. Naomi Osaka is the best hardcourt player in the world right now, and it isn't really close. However, after that, she really dropped off in form. Kind of one of those, first ever Grand Slam final hangovers, if you will. She struggled to win a match for a long time, and though she has started to build some form back, none of her wins this clay season impressed me in the least. Now bring along Anastasia Sevastova, who is more comfortable on the clay. She has a game that can compete with Brady's, and the biggest thing is the variety in her game is something I think sets her apart. To me, being +100 here is a travesty. Anastasia Sevastova straight up should be the favorite in this match. Not a slight dog. That price is wrong. She's comfortable on the clay. She's picked up a few wins this clay court season. And most importantly, she has the variety that can really bug Jennifer Brady. She's going to slice and dice and drop shot a lot. And as a result, Jen Brady, who's not the greatest mover in the world and is mainly a power player, if these rallies get too long, I don't see her winning very many points in those longer rallies. She's really going to need her first serve to be on to hit through that clay and hit through Sevastova in quicker points to really have a chance in this one. I'm going with Sevastova, back the Latvian at +100 on the money line. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll be back to cover all the best bets from the second round at Roland-Garros in a few days.